Oh, hey. Hey, Marco. All right. So, today you should have a chapter 4, quiz 1, review 1. Today we will be reviewing for the quiz today and tomorrow. And then on Friday, Friday you're going to take your quiz. Okay, so this is going to go over everything we've done so far. And it's really not a lot, okay? It probably looks like a lot because I put extra problems on here, but your quiz is only going to be a couple problems long. Okay, so we're going to go over this. For those of you guys that are new, you know who you are. Okay, I already talked to you, but you're going to just copy along with me. If you can do some other ones, great. But if not, don't worry about it, okay? For the rest of you guys, make sure that you're getting your sheets done every day, okay? Finish line is not an excuse. Homie, don't play that. So get your sheet done, okay? I ain't playing. Jaden, get off your phone. Just kidding. I just had to say it. Okay, so the very first one, they want us to graph the mommy and daddy function, okay? And 2 is the same thing. They want you to graph the mommy and daddy function. The only difference is there's a negative there, okay? So the directions say sketch the graph of each function, find the vertex, axis of symmetry, max or a min, okay? And so if we were to look at this first one, we definitely are going to sketch a graph. Okay, we can find the vertex. Well, what's the vertex always going to be at? For a mommy and daddy function, it's always going to be at 0. And so down here, okay, we can write vertex, AOS, and I'm going to put max or min. Okay, and so my vertex is going to be at 0, 0. Okay, well, we know, and we learned this yesterday about the vertex. If this is 0, then my axis of symmetry is going to be 0. Okay, and we say, well, is this a max or a min? Okay, if there is no negative, it's going to be a minimum. Okay, and you'll see why if you have not figured it out already. Okay, so if there's a negative out front, it's going to be a minimum. So like 2, I already know because the negative is going to make it open up like this. That has a maximum point. The point of the U is up at the top of the graph. The highest point up here is going to be that U. Okay, when we look at it this way, the lowest point is going to be down here, and that's going to be at a minimum point. Okay, well, when we graph these mommy and daddy ones, we know that it's going to be up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Okay, and squared, okay, is always going to be up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2. Up 4 over 2. Okay, on all these graphs, I really only need these bottom 3 points, just so you know. So on all of them today, I'm giving you permission to just graph the bottom 3. I can tell if you know what you're doing just from the bottom 3. Okay, and so we found our vertex, we found our axis of symmetry, and we found our max or a min. Okay, a minimum is always going to be if this is positive, if there's nothing there. It's always going to have a maximum if the number's negative. Okay, always, always. Okay, and so we can look at this one and we know we're going to need the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and if it has a max or a min. Okay, and then obviously to sketch it. And I'm going to draw this other part up here. So our says our parent function says a to the x minus h plus k. Okay, the k makes us move up and down. Because on all these, there's really 2 ways to graph it on these ones with the parentheses. You could shift it, graph it by shifting, or you could just graph it by picking stuff out, and then you can be able to graph it. Okay, the h does our left and our right, and we do the opposite. Okay, and then finally our a is our slope. And if a is negative, same thing, it should be pointed downwards. Okay, and so we can look at this and say, well, I know, and we always start at 0, 0, would normally be our vertex for our mommy and daddy function. But I know that my vertex is this, okay? It's always hk, or xy. So it's going to be the opposite, so it should be at 4, comma, negative 2. And we can look at this. Well, if I start at 0, 0, a minus 2 makes me move down 2. a negative 4 makes me move to the positive 4, really. And so here should be my vertex. And is that the point that we've graphed without even doing anything I've picked out? Well, I picked out 4, -2. So that's right. Well, my axis of symmetry, okay, if this is 4, then this is going to be x equals 4. Okay, and by what we know from our graphing, we got to go up 1 over 1 every time. Okay, and today I said that's good enough, okay, but in all reality, you go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2. 2, 3, 4 over 2. Okay, up 4 over 2. So we can look at this and say, well, does that have a max or a min? Well, that's a minimum point. The lowest point is a u. It's a minimum. Okay, look at 5. Okay, that's in the form. We can either pick these out or you can try to move it around and sketch it, okay? So we're going to have a vertex. This board is so annoying. A vertex, an axis of symmetry, and a max or a min. Okay, so is there a negative out front? Okay, if there is, that means my graph's going to open downward. So I can say, well, is that a max or a min? And in this case, if it's negative, it's going to be a maximum. Okay, my vertex is always this and this. It's x, y, or h, k. Okay, and so my vertex is going to be, and we do the opposite on the inside, so it's going to be at 2, -3. Well, my axis of symmetry, if this is 2, then my axis of symmetry is going to be 2. Okay, so we've done everything except for sketch it without even like doing anything, really. Okay, but you can do it by shifting too. So normally you'd start at 0, 0. We would go down 3 towards the positive 2 and put a dot. We know our graph is going to open downwards because it has a slope, okay? And that vertex is the same, so we're going to go down 1 over 1, our slope. And remember, I said you only have to draw 3 points, so you could draw it nicely from there. Okay, but don't draw me like this. Okay, I know your points look like this. Don't draw me a V. You know it's not a V. Okay, you need to make it look like a U. Okay, with the same points, you can either make it look like a V or you can make it look like a U, and it should look like a U. Okay, so take a little extra time and make it look right. Okay, look at 9. Okay, 9, same thing. We need our vertex, our axis of symmetry, and if it has a min or max. Okay, so does this graph open up or down? Okay, well, there's no negative out front of that x, so we know that the graph's going to open upwards. And if it opens upwards, it's going to have a minimum. Okay, these ones are in the ones where it's in standard form, which is standard form says ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, and so we're kind of got to do some math on these ones to figure out what's happening here. So it's going to be A is 1, my B is 6, my C is 8. So I'm going to have negative B over 2 times my A. So it's going to be negative 6 over 2 times 1. Okay, well, when you plug that into the calculator, you should get negative 3. Okay, and so we can start filling in some stuff. I found this one first, so that means it goes in the first spot. Okay, it's the x value. Well, I know that if this is negative 3, then this is going to be negative 3. Okay, and so all we have to do left is find the y's. Okay, so we can write the equation down. So I'm gonna have negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 8. And give me a second, I'm gonna type it in. Squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 8. So you should have gotten negative 1. Okay, and that goes here. Okay, and so now we have enough information to graph this. So our vertex is at negative 3, negative 1. Okay, and we know that it's going to have a minimum. We know that the graph is going to open up this way. Okay, and so we can go up 1 over 1 for our slope. Okay, and we can go ahead and make our nice little U, not a V. Okay, and so all you really need is that vertex to kind of graph some stuff. Okay.